What's going on, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? This is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from the Alamo City, the home of your silver and black San Antonio Spurs, the home of the San Antonio Missions, and, of course, the San Antonio Brahmas, and somewhere along I-10 and 1604, the UTSA Roadrunners. We're the home of all of that. We do sports, pop culture. We do nostalgic things around here. Joe Garcia producing today's show. It is Tuesday. You know what that means. It is Tuesdays with Teague. Carolina Teague will be with us in about 5 minutes to talk about sports, pop culture, lots of things going on. We had a big game last night between LSU and Iowa. Caitlin Clark got the best of Angel Reese yesterday. Big game. We're going to dive into that. Two of the Spurs' better players are out. Devin Vassell out for the season. Jeremy Soshan out for the season, which brings up the question, should the Spurs sit down? Put the season to an end for Victor Wembanyama. Should he be benched at this point? We'll get into that. Batty brackets. We're down to the Sweet 16. We're going to announce who the 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4 seeds are when it comes to that. Lots of things going on with the Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver. He in trouble.
Jeez, bro.
We're going to get
into that.
Brian Windhorst of ESPN singing the praises of the city of San Antonio, which was really nice.
Well, I mean,
say that the Spurs are going to get a good free agent this offseason because someone's going to want to play with Wemby. And he was saying, you know what? It's not like Cleveland. San Antonio is better than Cleveland when it comes to like living and things like that. And he was talking about San Antonio and Austin being so close to each other that he drove down I-35 the other day. And he was saying, it's not that bad, man. It's not as bad as you think. He is doing the Lord's work for the Spurs when it comes to recruiting guys over here because, you know, he covers Wemby. That's his new gig, right? LeBron James is going to retire soon enough. Wemby is going to be his beat.
He's got to have something to cover.
Yeah. And
keep his job.
And he wants to cover a winning team. So when it comes to those free agents, by the way, who are the good free agents that are available this year? Because I don't think we've broken that down. So I've got a list of the top
I can't help but
agents.
looking at this juicy fly, dude. When we walked in the studio, this big ass fly followed me in. And it just followed you right in.
The thing is the size of a quarter. Okay,
he's
it
big,
is juicy. It is juicy, dude. Last night. Okay, well, speaking about last night, just right now, I was driving on in, and I decided I'm gonna go get a car wash. Right, so I have one of those memberships to, you know, that neighborhood car wash where it's like $25 a month, unlimited washes.
I just saw one on the other day. They opened up one right here off of Culebra.
Yeah,
you could get your car washed for $1.
For $1 on certain days out of the month, right? Or out of the week, rather.
Yeah.
But with this one right here, there were 25 cars in line to get a car wash right now.
Is it that good, the car wash?
No, it's because of the hail last night. Did you get hail yesterday?
I did, man. But it wasn't that big. It was kind of tiny, but you could hear it made a lot of noise.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't have any neighbors to my back. I have an elementary school.
Were the dogs inside?
The dogs were inside.
All right.
Yes, they were. They were inside the house at the time. But it started hailing pretty bad. I mean, it was probably quarter size hail at my house. And it's one of those things where my friend was telling me that he didn't believe in this. I went outside and I sniffed and I said, it smells.
Kill that
this fly is all over me. I went outside and I sniffed and I said, it's going to rain. It smells like rain.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's the stupidest thing. Can you smell rain?
I can smell the rain. And you know what? It's a scientific fact. I just saw that on social media yesterday.
Yeah.
It says some people can smell the rain before it comes.
Okay, so we have our chat line open. By the way, not only were we live on YouTube, but we opened it up to Twitter and to Facebook as well. We're going to run a bit of an experiment. Midtown saying MJ's wearing the same shirt as yesterday equals flies. Okay. Do you have like any of those shirts where you buy several of the same shirt, but you just have different colors? So yesterday I wore a pastel green shirt. Today I'm wearing a pastel blue shirt.
Bro.
It's the same brand. It's the same polo, but it's a different one, man. It's a different one. Is this green or is this blue?
Hey, that's a good thing for social media. Is the shirt green or blue?
Oh yeah,
like the dress.
Like the dress is a gold or whatever. Tim Gonzalez was just out to us in our YouTube stream saying he can smell the rain, that he notices. We talked about the word juicy, about that fly that's flying around the studio right now. There's just a juiciness to the air. I can just smell it. The temperature just feels different when it comes to it. But man, last night my house got rocked by hail. I haven't checked the damage because my car right now is completely white. I have a silver pickup truck. It's completely white because of all the hail that hit it. So I have no idea what's underneath it. That's why I was going to the car wash. But everyone's car in the neighborhood looks like trash. Yeah. So everyone's in line to get it washed.
It's all that freaking pollen and crap that was in the air with the rain and the hail. It just covers everything now. It's nasty, dude. I need to get my caddy washed, man. My wife took it this morning to take it to work. She's like, can I take your car? I'm like, I ain't going nowhere. I work from home. Go ahead.
Joe, let me ask you this, man. Is it the neighborhood or is something going on with hail that I don't remember? I don't remember getting hail all the time. Like it used to be like hail once every 2 or 3 years, but it seems like my house gets rocked with it once every 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, global warming, brother.
I don't know what it is.
Global warming, man.
Something's going on. I'll blame the fracking. Okay,
the easy way out.
Last night's I was at a bar last night and I was hanging out with one of the vendors that I do with my personal business, and hanging out with the vendors, and we were watching the LSU Iowa game. I'm waiting for the ratings to come out because I got on the line and I said that this was going to be the highest rated game of the year, both guys and girls. Dude, Caitlin Clark is a draw. And what I hate about yesterday's game, and a lot of America, because if you were to poll America, only the state of Louisiana was going for LSU. Everybody else wants Caitlin Clark to win. Jason Sudeikis, the comedian from Ted Lasso, Saturday Night Live, was doing the whole hand gesture that Angel Reese did to
Caitlin the ring.
Clark. My response to him on Twitter was, how many rings does Caitlin Clark have? Because Angel Reese has one. Caitlin Clark does not. Can you imagine if Caitlin Clark has this incredible career, the highest point scorer of all time in college basketball for the ladies?
No.
And doesn't win a chip.
You know, the funny thing was the LSU's coach, you know how they go and shake hands with the opposing players? She was telling her that she's glad she's leaving because she ain't never seen anything like her.
Yeah. Angel Reese got hurt in the second quarter. And that was the end of the game because at that point, LSU was on a run. Caitlin Clark had not scored in 9 minutes. LSU was up 5 points. And then Caitlin Clark was defending, was actually going for a layup. Angel Reese goes to try to swat it away. And Angel Reese had swatted some. Angel Reese got called for a blocking foul. Kind of a questionable one, but I'm okay with it. Kind of a questionable one. But she landed awkwardly. And it wasn't when she hit the ground. It was the second hop when it comes to it all. Tim Gonzalez says, I posted the ratings for the men's on the Twitter page, Mike and Joe. I did see that there were really high ratings for the Sweet 16. It was the highest ratings in the last 5 or 6 years. But that was cumulatively. And that Duke game against NC State, or no, it wasn't NC State, but the Duke game was the one that was the highest rated. But I'm going to tell you this much. This game, this individual game, is going to have higher ratings than any of the men's games. So it was kind of sad last night's game that it ended because of an injury. Angel Reese did come back in the second half.
Yeah,
but she wasn't the same, man. She was hobbling up and down the court. She wasn't the same. She couldn't shoot correctly. She wasn't that defensive presence, and it happens. We talked about this with Houston.
Yeah.
Right?
Their
star guard went down. Season's over.
Yeah.
Angel Reese goes down. And if LSU had won, there's no saying that Angel Reese was going to be able to play the next game because an injury is an injury.
I don't even think the coach would want to chance it with her if she has an injury. If she's going to come back and play another season, why risk more injury, you know?
Yeah. Sith coming out saying I'd fake an injury too. Fake an injury. They were winning. LSU was winning, and they were shutting down Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese goes out, and Caitlin Clark just blows up in the third quarter. Had an epic third quarter, and there was no looking back for Iowa.
Yeah, we got CT joining us.
Carolina now. Teague, CT the Mike Slayer joining us right now. CT,
what up, CT?
Looks like she's showered and dressed this time.
Yeah,
with the Spurs gear on.
With the Spurs gear.
Yeah, one of somebody who supports me, they bought me this Wemby shirt.
Oh,
nice.
Cute, right?
Who supports you? Remember when we were doing that radio show and on San Antonio Sports Star back in the day, and people were bringing us breakfasts, and you were getting gear sent to the studio.
Somebody sent her a cake.
What's it like? What's a cake? What's it like being a pretty girl? Because that doesn't happen to dudes. Okay, I get the occasional beer at a bar back in the day, But what's it like being a pretty girl getting all of this stuff?
I must have gotten ugly because like the gifts have kind of like died down lately.
No, what it is that you've lost a couple of pounds. You've been hitting the gym. You've been looking really good. You've gotten more intimidating.
Maybe that's
what it
yeah.
is. Yeah. You know.
Oh yeah.
You don't hit up the 10 at the bar. You want to go after the solid 7 or 8. You know.
So what I was thinking of actually like I wanted to get plastic surgery. Like I was really thinking about it lately. I was like, maybe I should get like plastic surgery, like to just enhance my features. Like maybe just like, but then I was thinking about it. I was like, I can't do plastic surgery.
I like the guy on, when I drive by Ding Hao on Callahan and I-10, there's a billboard sign of this girl in a bikini, and it's for cosmetic surgery, and it just says haters gonna hate. That's a great billboard sign, by the way. Very nice. So we're joined by Carolina Teague. We were talking about last night's LSU Iowa game. It was a great game for the first half. We saw Caitlin Clark blow up in the third quarter, have a monster game in the third. I was super into this game because, again, I have some allegiance towards LSU because my daughter graduated from there in December. But the game was disappointing for me because Angel Reese got hurt halfway through the second quarter. LSU was on a big run, up around 5 points or so. Angel Reese goes down, was not the same. She gets taken out. It's tied at halftime, and by the time the third quarter rolled around, you can tell Angel Reese was not having it. She was a shell of herself, and Caitlin Clark just went off. What are your thoughts on last night's game?
Oh my God, it was so much fun to watch. And it's hard for me to like pick a side because Caitlin Clark is the definition of a generational talent. And then you have Angel Reese, Flau'jae Johnson, and Haley Van Lith, and you have Kim Mulkey, and there's just like two incredible what I take from this is that women's basketball, it's up, bro. Like it's up. I think it's better than the men's. It's far more entertaining. The storylines are badass from what happened last year. LSU won the championship until now. It seems like Caitlin Clark kind of internalized that and got her vengeance. And now they're moving forward. They took out LSU. So I couldn't ask for a better story. Like I'm happy for the both of them. I'm happy for LSU and I'm happy for Caitlin Clark in Iowa. But I think women's basketball is the ultimate winner of all this. Everybody is tuning in because everybody wants to see this. Everybody wants to see the battle between these two dominant women in the sport. They're both dominant for their own reasons. And I just love the fact that women's basketball is getting so much attention. And then when they say like the WNBA salary is like an average of $72,000 and Ice Cube is offering Caitlin Clark $5 million, it's like, okay, WNBA, we kind of need to step your game up because these women are marketing their asses off and they're good at what they do. So it's awesome.
Amazing. And Caitlin Clark, blew up. We're talking about 41 points. She was 9 of 20 from 3. You mentioned Angel Reese, injured Angel Reese, 17 points and 20 rebounds. 20 rebounds, 10 offensive rebounds.
You know what's crazy? That like they had Haley Van Lith on Caitlin Clark pretty much the entire game until Kim Mulkey decided to sub out later in the game to have Flau'jae on defense. And people were kind of getting hard on her because they were like, she couldn't guard Caitlin Clark. But honestly, who really can?
I agree. And Flau'jae should have been on her from the beginning because she's a more aggressive player. Even though you need her on the offensive side of the game, they didn't bully Caitlin Clark. And second half officiating was fine. But the first half, if you breathed on Caitlin Clark, it was going to be a foul. There were a lot of questionable calls in the first half there. LSU was playing 5-on-8 for a good 12 minutes or so. And then the run happened and LSU kind of broke through it all. But the thing is, Angel Reese got hurt. It's a tainted win. It's a tainted win because we don't know who would have won this game because when Angel Reese got hurt, LSU was rocking. They were winning. And Caitlin Clark, think about this. 41 points last night. She went a 9-minute streak in the second quarter without a bucket because they clamped her down and they were playing a little bit tougher defense down low. They were letting her go into the lane. They were like, okay, we just don't want you on the 3-point line. Shoot a layup, shoot a mid-range jumper, turning you into DeMar DeRozan. Let's do that. They turned her into a facilitator. Second Angel Reese got hurt. Game was over. It busted wide open. Iowa is going to go on, and now you have a Final Four going on because they're going to take on UConn. But it seems as though that the stars are aligning for a national championship of an undefeated South Carolina team taking on Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes. But here's the thing about it. Let me ask you this, though. Caitlin Clark doesn't win the title, doesn't get a chip. Can she still be the greatest player of all time? Because Angel Reese has one. At this point, South Carolina would have one. How bad would it be for Caitlin Clark to go her entire career, be the all-time scoring leader, passing Kelsey Plum, and not get a chip?
Well, that's the scenario that we haven't seen yet. But if that happens, I think it's just going to make her greater going into the WNBA. Because, people like that, they have a chip on their shoulder because they didn't win. They knew they were excellent at what they did. And then they go into the WNBA with a chip on their shoulder. And then that's where she might see the greatness come alive, isn't down the line. But I don't think it affects who she is as a talent. I don't think it affects her status as whether or not she should go down as like one of the Pete Maraviches in college basketball history. I already think she's stamped where she's at in college basketball because that's what they're comparing her to. They're comparing her to like a Pete Maravich.
Right.
You know what's funny here too? I was just looking at, the X, and TMZ Sports put this out. They said, Angel Reese only famous because she taunted Caitlin Clark, says Jason Whitlock.
Okay, first of all, Jason Whitlock, to quote Stephen A. Smith,
he's a jackass.
The great Stephen A. Smith. Jason Whitlock, you fat fuck.
Yeah,
that's exactly what Stephen A. Smith said last month about Jason Whitlock. Did you ever?
I saw that clip.
Did you see Stephen A. Smith go off on him? Jason Whitlock, you fat F.
That shit was funny.
Every time I think of that. By the way, Angel Reese after the game was saying that she's getting death threats, and that she had been receiving them along the way. Meantime, the LA Times, Ben Bloch, who was the guy that wrote the column that people were calling racist towards LSU and the LSU players, and I've called it racist as well because I read it the first time going, how did the LA Times allow this to go on as an editorial? He has an apology that says, quote, it has taken me 2 days to write this apology because I wanted to be as thoughtful as possible in my response to the situation I've created. These are words I have not been asked to write by the newspaper or by anyone, but they need to be expressed so I can own up to my mistake. Words matter. As a journalist, no one should know this more than me, yet I have failed miserably in my choice of words. In my column previewing the LSU-UCLA women's basketball game, I tried to be clever in my phrasing about one team's attitude, using alliteration while not understanding the deeply offensive connotation and associations. I also use metaphors that were inappropriate. Our society has to deal with so many layers of misogyny, racism, and negativity that I can now see why the words that I used were wrong. It was not my intent to be hurtful, but I now understand that I terribly missed the mark. I sincerely apologize to the LSU and UCLA basketball teams and to our readers. Mm-hmm. My response to that was, look, a-hole, it was not clever alliteration. It was not describing an attitude. It was racism, and you got caught.
So what were the exact words? Can you let me know like what he was saying?
He called LSU dirty debutantes. He went off and was trying to compare them to basically say, that they were he was using certain words and certain phrases where he was trying to describe UCLA in like terms of like, hey, we're milk and cookies. Everyone likes milk and cookies, but nobody likes the dirty debutantes. Nobody likes the swamp. Nobody likes the whatever. And just the way that he phrased it, and he did a contrast with UCLA, it was not very difficult to kind of read between the lines as to what he was saying. He was basically saying, you guys are trash. He was basically saying, you guys are poor state. You guys are trash. You got, and you guys are black. That's basically what he was saying. Not that there aren't black players on the UCLA team, but the way that he did it was weird. And then UCLA's coach retweeted it and has since apologized by saying, well, I didn't know what I was retweeting, which is a fat lie.
I look at what Sid says, basically calling one squad ghetto and the other God's gift to earth.
Basically. Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
So first things first, there's another team that had to endure a lot of this, and I didn't realize it until my adult years. And that was the Detroit Pistons when they were called the Bad Boy Pistons. They had all these negative connotations surrounding them all the time to paint this narrative of them. Racist, I don't know, but because I wasn't there when all that stuff was going live and I didn't live through that, so I don't know. I would have to ask Isaiah Thomas if he felt that there was racial undertones in that sense. But to call somebody a dirty debutante when they just won the championship last year, yeah, it is implicit bias. And I think that's what a lot of people and they have the caucasity is what I say. Like it's the caucasity of it all. Like you say things that you don't deem offensive, or it doesn't come out and you probably don't even know that you're being implicitly biased. And that's the term that I would use. They're being implicitly biased. You're seeing these type of girls and how they live and how they talk and how they act. And despite the fact that they're champions, you already have this preconceived connotation about them, preconceived notion about them because of the way that they speak. And at the end of the day, they're very well educated. They're smart. They're in college. They're making a ton of money and they're just being themselves.
Right.
So it is implicit bias. And I can say that because I've experienced that personally in my career. It was, I don't want to give names or details, right? But I will say the story. And it hurts because people don't even realize that they're doing it. That's probably what this guy was doing. He probably said things, didn't even realize how it was coming across. Like you sound like your underlying bias and bigotry is kind of being exposed. You don't even know it.
Coming to the surface.
It's coming to the surface and you didn't even realize it. So for me, it was a situation where I have already had established name for myself, did some things in my career, and I was standing next to a Caucasian female who was a counterpart of mine, right? And the boss, right? He approaches us and he talks about how we are when we speak about sports. And he said, Carolina, your voice irritates me. You're annoying. You don't know what you're talking about. You interrupt too much. You don't do your homework before blah, blah, blah. You are always late. And I wasn't late, by the way, at the time. I was late today. But I was always on time. And you just aren't good enough. You're not good enough. Then he turns to the Caucasian girl. And he was like, you know what you just need to fix? You're just too shy.
Yeah.
So me, the Latina, I was too loud too, by the way, which when I turn on TV, people are screaming through the damn TV, right?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so I'm loud. I'm like a slew of all these negative things. And then you turn to the Caucasian girl and she just needs to work on the fact that she is too shy.
Yeah. And I know you've talked to me about this before, what you've experienced with through this. And I remember when certain things happen.
Yeah.
But people don't realize, and it's so funny because you and I are not only podcast creators and things like that, but we're also good friends. You were at my birthday party and all that stuff. We are good friends. And I've known you for years.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever something kind of pops up and you go through an experience, you oftentimes reach out to me and talk to me about it. And I kind of give some counsel when it comes to it. There's so many undertones to certain things that people don't want to hear,
Yeah.
And the thing about San Antonio, I'll let you finish. Give me 1 second. The thing about San Antonio, though, is that San Antonio is more than Stone Oak. San Antonio is more than Alamo Heights. We've got the south side, the east side, the west side. We've got Converse and Kirby, and we've got all of these different areas. But it seems like local media only wants to focus on what flies at North Star Mall, what flies at Alcantara Mall, right?
They're afraid of Ingram or South Park, bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
And I think that's it. There's a bias towards. I don't think the bias wasn't necessarily also just you being a woman. That's probably partially true. But I think the bias was also towards the side of town.
Well, me and Carolina have a lot of discussions, and we always say we the wrong color.
We the wrong color. No, but it's like so I didn't say anything because I was upset in the moment, and I was like, if I come off upset and just mad about what was said, then I'm just angry too. You know what I mean? So but I did take away from it is like that's the definition of implicit bias. You have literally picked me apart from head to toe as a human being. just so you can say all the negative things and why I don't get the opportunities that I deserve to get, which like I said, I'm going to say that very, very clearly. I deserved opportunities that I never got. And there's a slew of things, and I will be picked apart from head to toe. And then you look at somebody that looks like your niece or looks like your daughter or reminds you of your sister because she's the same color as you, and all you have to say is that she's shy. You don't even want to pick her apart. She's just too shy. You know what I mean? So back to the LSU article, right? He probably didn't, and this is the thing, I don't even think the person who told me that is racist or bigoted or whatever the hell. It's just implicit bias. These are things you don't even think about. So I think when this guy was writing this article, he was just saying things, didn't even realize that he was coming off as a bias. But it is, because these women work their asses off. They deserve to be there just as much as Caitlin Clark does. Now, she is a generational talent, and she's fantastic, and she's stunting on everybody, okay? I ain't even going to do that. But if you're going to make a comparison and call them dirty, swamp, all those things, then it just comes across as you've already put that in your mind about them.
And you know, the crazy thing about it is that with LSU, there was a backlash towards them just in general. First of all, they never should have been a 3 seed. They're the defending national champions. They were ranked in the top 8. They never should have been a 3 seed. They never should have had the run through Iowa in the Elite 8. They should have faced them in the national championship game again, or it should have been something that was done in the Final Four. They got railroaded. I think there's a hatred towards Kim Mulkey. By the way, the LA Times did do a retraction of sorts. They re-edited his column to take out some of the comparisons that he was making. And so I mean, the LA Times was making a proactive effort to try to fix things a little bit, but it kind of sucks that happened. But again, Caitlin Clark, who has no chips on her resume, needs 2 more wins, right? She has to beat UConn and more than likely South Carolina, South Carolina won the title not last year. Last year was LSU. South Carolina won the year before, and then there was a COVID year somewhere in the mix. So again, Caitlin Clark trying to cap off her career, and that's America's sweetheart. It's America's darling right now. People want to see her. But when she goes up against South Carolina's going to kill her. South Carolina is going to kill her. And it's so much fun watching women's basketball right now because the men's tournament, the Final Four, I don't give 2 craps about any of those teams going on right now. Noah Paredes reaches out to us on our YouTube stream saying, Mike salty as LSU Tigers lost. The Tigers did lose. Again, Angel Reese got hurt 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. Game was over at that point. Arthur Butler reaches out and says they are blessed to have Carolina Teague. Earlier, someone said Carolina Teague is the number 1 overall seed in the baddies bracket.
That was Tim.
That was Tim. Yes, number 1. But I feel like honestly, like South Carolina, they have an incredible team. But I do love Caitlin Clark. Like I think she's incredible and fantastic. And I'm sure it was really painful for her to experience that loss against LSU. LSU deserved to win. But I think it made her stronger and better because that's exactly how she's been this entire year. It's just a matter of can they beat South Carolina, but it's going to be hard because that team is undefeated and they're fantastic.
She is amazing. And don't forget also, before we go on to the next topic, this Saturday from 10 to 4 is the Mike Taylor barbecue cook-off.
Oh, yeah. That's
over on Peacock. It's near Woodlawn Lake. Again, you can follow Mike Taylor on Twitter. You can go on the website as well. The Salvation Army is going to benefit for this. The Boys and Girls Club through the Salvation Army. I am judging the chicken category, one of several judges out there. Keep me away from some of the other judges because
God,
they're kind of cute.
CT, come get your boy.
He's trying to have a new lady in his life, and honestly, I think he meant as you're a great catch.
There you go. I got to go find one. So again, it's going to be from 10 to 4. It's on Peacock. Again, just search Mike Taylor Show's barbecue cook-off. You will find it. Man.
CT's going to be out there too.
Oh, CT. What are you judging, girl? Specialty?
It's actually supposed to be a secret. Nobody's supposed to know.
Okay. Oops. Cat's out of the bag.
I'm not on fire for a reason.
Don't forget to follow.
But I am a judge. Yeah, thanks.
Oops.
Catch on the bag. I'll be there too.
Moving on. Don't forget to follow Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. You can follow him at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter, and also follow him on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts and YouTube and all that stuff. Here's the thing
Who's
about
judging
it, though.
the sausage, Midtown Texas? It's an inside joke. They keep telling Mike he needs to judge the sausage instead of the chicken.
So meaty.
God, Mike.
That's from the Talk Soup on E back in the day with Joel McHale. But the big news from the Spurs, and Jeff Garcia has a Locked On Spurs guest with Hector Ledesma about this, about the Spurs Nuggets preview. But he's also talking about the fact that Devin Vassell, Jeremy Soshan are both out for the year with an injury, various injuries going on. And we heard about this. We heard rumblings that Soshan might be done after getting hurt in a game over the weekend, and then Vassell suffered an injury. And the question I have for you, CT, which is my poll question at MJ Acquire Taste, should we just basically sit Wemby for the year? Should Wemby just be done for the year, shut him down, or should we keep playing him? What are your thoughts?
Do you want my honest answer?
Yeah.
I want him to keep playing because it's selfish, because I'm supposed to be going to a Spurs game.
Oh, God.
Why would I go to a Spurs game if, the man on my shirt, Wemby, isn't playing? Like,
now, give me an unselfish answer. Let's say you don't have tickets.
Yeah, if I didn't have tickets, then yeah, Wemby should sit out, honestly, because what's the point of risking him getting injured? And or maybe I honestly low-key think like this is an experiment to see like how well he performs without the three guys, to see what pieces they could do without them. But when I take my tinfoil hat off, I want Wemby to sit out just so he can be safe for next year and just not have any injuries or risk any injuries. So I would sit him out, but selfish reasons, I want Wemby in.
We got 125 votes this morning about this poll, and 67% are saying that they want Wemby to keep playing. 33% saying no. Some of the comments that reached out to us on Twitter, John Dyer reaches out and asks the question, save Wemby from what? The French national team? Play him. He's a competitor.
Hey, we're coming up against it, man. CT's got a hard out today at 10:50.
Oh, I already saw that right there.
So.
Very, very nice. But real fast, CT, want to get your impressions on the 1 seeds of the baddie brackets.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I can wrap up in 5 minutes.
Okay, the 1 seeds of the baddie brackets. The number 1 overall seed is Salma Hayek, Yannick Garcia, Tiffany Amber Thiessen, and Trish Stratus.
What did I tell y'all about Salma Hayek? I said she was the number 1 pick. I have a feeling she's going to win.
I think if we had like Vegas odds, there's got to be some bookie here in San Antonio willing to do this, right? Willing to place bets on this. Now, I will say this. San Antonio has a thing for Scarlett Johansson. Every time we put her on a poll, she puts up a huge number. I don't know. Are the Latinos into Scarlett Johansson, to ScarJo, or is it our white contingent of fans?
We already said that the boys here have a certain type, man.
Yes, they like
girls.
I
feel like San Antonio loves Topanga. They're like obsessed with Topanga. So I'm surprised she didn't make it to the top.
We're real fast. 6 Latinas made it to the Sweet 16. Salma Hayek as a 1 seed. Yannick Garcia as a 1 seed. Shakira as a 2 seed.
Yeah, Shakira's my pick.
Jessica Alba as a 3 seed. Ana de Armas as a 4 seed. And Selena Gomez as a 4 seed. We also have 6 international hotties, baddies, if you will, being Salma Hayek from Mexico, Yannick Garcia from Mexico. You have Shakira from Colombia, right? Dua Lipa from England. She's Albanian. We also have international flavor for Ana de Armas, who's from Cuba, and Gal Gadot, who's from Israel. I like it.
Y'all actually really did a really good job. I mean, there's so many baddies in this world, and y'all kind of narrowed it down pretty well.
Yeah, wasn't too bad. We'll talk a bit more about that a little bit later, but that is Carolina Teague. Caroline, tell us what you're working on. A league of her own podcast as well. She's at Twitter at CT the Mike Slayer. What's going on in your world, CT? Plug yourself, girl.
Tonight, League of Her Own podcast is tonight. Me and Gylan were tired from the fight this past weekend. So we had a lot of fun, by the way. And that, if you guys want to rewatch it, that video should be out soon of the show. I don't know, like the replay of the show. I don't know what's called that, but it's going to be out soon. And my show, League of Our Own, is tonight. guys who are watching, Joe, Mike, I'm tired. I'm tired from the show this past weekend. I'm overexhausted. If y'all can give me some topics y'all want me to talk about, I'd love to talk about them. This shirt, I'm going to be wearing it tonight too. So it's going to be at 7 p.m. So podcast, League of Our Own, on social media. It's going to be on Twitter Live. It's going to be on YouTube. I'm now at 506 subscribers on YouTube.
Nice.
And I'm trying to get to 1,000. And what else? Oh, I'm not going to be at RCW 420. Mike, I think was mistaken. A lot of people, because I'm synonymous with RCW, but I was booked for Mission Pro prior to RCW booking that date. So I am going to actually be at Mission Pro, where I am the general manager. Thunder Rosa I'm not on her good side right now. And I just want to say that something might go down. Me and Thunder Rosa.
Nice. So we can go to that one. I'm off that day. It's on Saturday.
Yeah, you might want to go because
and it's 420.
We got into it. Yeah, 420 is pot day. We kind of got into it. If you guys, I don't know.
Office.
Just expect something electric happening. That's what I'm gonna say.
That skit was pretty funny. They told him to shut up.
It's not a skit.
What are you talking about?
Well, it was funny either way. I always call these skits that they have on wrestling, you know?
It is beef.
Beef. There you go.
Promos. Our lives are recorded and they clip it and they put it out there. That is a promo.
Just like The Rock beating on
a skit is like lines I memorized.
Yeah.
You can't fake anger, okay? Thunder Rosa slapped the shit out of Izzy Moreno and she's underage. So you can't fake anger when it comes to that. And we both are on two different sides right now. I don't think you should slap a 17-year-old because you're trying to prove a point.
What about Calientita? Can she slap Calientita?
She said RCW.
Oh, I know. Let's have a cross promotion.
Calientita's going to be at Mania too. At Mission Pro Mania.
Well, now I know where I'm going to be.
Yeah. So like I said, like you can't fake anger. Like I don't think Izzy Moreno, future probably WWE prospect, if you guys keep up with her storyline, I'm sure Elias knows Izzy Moreno's story. Or perhaps
San Antonio's Izzy Moreno. She's famous, man.
And
that's what I'm saying. Like you don't just slap a 17-year-old. So we got into it, and Thunder Rosa's like the thing that between me and Thunder Rosa is like, I'm the general manager because it's for checks and balances. I'm supposed to keep things in line, right? Yeah. And hold people accountable, even the owners. And Thunder Rosa is on this is my promotion, and if you cross me, then we gonna have some problems. And
I'm waiting for CT to get in the ring, dude.
I know. Yeah. Well,
I've told RCW, body slam me if you want. You know. We'll do it for children. We'll do it as
for charity,
as Mike Taylor says, for the kids. That is the Mike Slayer. Girl, I know you got to go back to work, but it was nice talking to you.
See y'all at 420 at Mission Pro Mania. Bye, guys.
Bye. Right, and again, her podcast is tonight. Don't forget to follow her on Facebook and on YouTube as well. She mentioned she's at over 500 subscribers. We are at 770 on the march to 1,000. Right now, we're live on Twitter. And we're live on Facebook. A little bit of an experiment. I wanted to see what kind of reaction it would be for us to be back onto this. Okay. I like the fact that we had someone say that it wasn't a skit. It was a documentary.
Documentary.
Garrett is in from the Netherlands. We got some international flavor going on today. What's going on, Garrett? Tony Ornalis is asking us a question. Are you guys off April 8th for the solar eclipse? And where are you going to be?
I'm working, man. I got to work. The grind don't stop, man.
Man, I got family coming into town from California for the solar eclipse, and we might have to make our way to Fredericksburg for this.
Nice. You want to be in the path of totality.
Well, I mean, because the thing is, San Antonio is going to have, or most of San Antonio.
Your neighborhood will be in the path of totality.
Right, but it's going to be a minute or so. But if you are in certain parts of the state, Fredericksburg being one of them, it's like 3.5 to 4 minutes of total darkness, which is kind of cool. Cool. By the way, I don't know if you noticed this, and I don't want to like rain on people's parade when it comes to this, but I was looking at the weather app. It's supposed to rain next week. So what happens? It's supposed to rain Tuesday of next week. So what happens if it gets rained out? What happens if we have a full solar eclipse and it's pouring rain outside? No one wants to mention this, by the way.
Can you imagine all the people that paid all that money to get their Airbnbs and hotels and whatnot to be in the path of totality?
Yeah.
And it freaking rains, dude. Or it's overcast and you can't see nothing.
Yeah, it's over. And that's going to be so pathetic. Yeah, it's going to be so bad. My name is Mike Jimenez. It's Joe Garcia. Joe is on Twitter at Two Shots Podcasts. I'm at MJ Acquired Taste. Again, this is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from San Antonio, Texas. Now, we were talking earlier about whether the Spurs should shut down Victor Wembanyama, and the answer is yes. That is the answer. You shut him down because none of these 8 games mean anything. Now, I know I've complained all year long about the fact that the Spurs have the worst record in franchise history, 51 years. They need 2 more wins, right? They have 18 wins. 2 more wins gets them to to tie the lowest of all time. If they get 1 win or fewer, it's the worst team of all time. And that includes having Victor Wembanyama and Devin, Vassell and Jeremy Soshan. Again, Soshan and Vassell are now out for the season. It is a bad look. Now, the thing is that we have to look forward to what's going to go on after the season, right? Because the Spurs season ends in 2 weeks. Okay. We look forward to the NBA draft lottery. Right now, the Spurs have the 3rd worst record in the NBA, right? If they win a couple of games, they might fall to the 4th worst record. That might alter their chances of winning the number 1 overall pick. Again, the bottom 3 teams have a 14% chance of winning the lottery. Same happened last year when we got the 14% chance to get Victor Wembanyama. Problem about this year is that there's no phenoms out there this year. We have a lot of decent players, a lot of players that could potentially be fringe all-stars, but there are no cornerstone pieces to be had.
Role players.
In fact, if you had the number 1 overall pick and you gave it to all 30 teams in the NBA, all 30 teams, like last year, all 30 teams would have picked Wemby, right? This year, 5 would probably pick Nikola Topic. 5 would probably pick Dillingham. 5 would pick Sarr. It's beauties in the eye of the beholder when it comes to it all. When it comes to the draft.
Look at JHNSB watching us from YouTube. These next games will prove we don't need Vassell or Soshan.
Trade them
them all. Nobody is safe but Wemby.
Hey, man. Soshan has flashes defensively. He can bring it every once in a while. The fact of the matter is that he's so inconsistent offensively. It's just hard to depend on him. It's hard to depend on him as the number 3 guy on this team. If he's the number 4 guy, I can see it. Now, how does he become the number 4 guy? It's not going to be through the draft. It's going to be through free agency. Spurs has some cap space to work with. And Brian Windhorst of ESPN was doing the Lord's work yesterday, talking about the city of San Antonio and talking up the Alamo City by saying, you know what? San Antonio really isn't that bad of a place. Okay. Everyone compares San Antonio to Cleveland, is what he was saying on this podcast. He was saying that San Antonio is actually a nicer place than Cleveland because San Antonio has Austin. He says, I'm sorry, it's one city. And I know a lot of San Antonio people, a lot of residents here don't want to hear that, but San Antonio and Austin, he called it a megalopolis.
Yeah.
Okay. We are one city, no different than Dallas and Fort Worth. Dallas has Fort Worth, and there's a 50, 60 miles difference between the two. But then you've got Arlington, and you've got all these cities along the way that connect the two. And Windhorst was saying, man, he goes, I didn't even realize it, that he was in Austin when the Spurs were playing out there. And he goes, I drove down 35 south to San Antonio. He goes, it's one continuous city. You go from San Antonio to Buda to Kyle to San Marcos to New Braunfels to Garden Ridge to Selma to Schertz, all the way to San Antonio. It is one big city. And he was saying that because of that, he thinks that San Antonio is going to be a bigger attraction, a bigger draw. If you let people realize that not only can you enjoy San Antonio as a resident of the city, but you can also celebrate Austin as well. That's a luxury there because, you and I could get in the car right now and in 1 hour be in downtown Austin.
Yeah, we could.
We could. And he was saying that that needs to be marketed as such. And the Spurs are already doing that by playing those 2 games in Austin every year.
And the Moody Center.
At the Moody. And he was basically saying that somebody's going to want to play here. that somebody's going to want to play here. Someone's going to look at the city of San Antonio and go, it's really not that bad of a place. And if I want to go to Austin on my days off, Austin's right there. And on top of that, there's no state income tax. And on top of that, this player gets to play with Wemby. Those are the exact words of Brian Windhorst. So the question becomes, well, okay, who will come and how much will that cost? And I hate it when Spurs fans come out and go, oh, well, I mean, that guy makes a lot of money. I know a lot of people last year were talking about Dame Lillard and the amount that he was making. And I was not one of the guys that wanted him to be here. I was thinking to myself, that's way too much money for somebody in their mid-30s. But there's a nice article on USA Today talking about the best free agents available next offseason, this summer.
Midtown Texas has me laughing. He says, I've been to Cleveland. It's a shithole.
And Cleveland has a Riverwalk, by the way, that they copied from the city of San Antonio. Chris Layhouse says, land the number 1 pick and trade it for a star and include
Booty Crumbs Collins
and a choice of Keldon or someone else. The thing is, everybody knows that this is a bad draft. Everyone knows that. Here are the free agents that are available. According to USA Today, the number 1 free agent available, and let me ask you this, Joe, would any of these people intrigue you? A restricted free agent, which means that the Sixers can actually match this, but Tyrese Maxey. Maxey's an all-star. He can knock down threes. He's a great defender. Dude, a Tyrese Maxey on this team would be legit.
It'd be legit, dude.
I mean, if the defense of a Tyrese Maxey, Vassell, Soshan, Wemby lineup,
it'd be great.
That'd be great, man.
Trey Young or bust is what Jesse A says. You're watching this on YouTube.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind Trey.
I wouldn't mind it, man.
But the price is quite high.
Probably 4 first rounders, man. But the draft picks that they want are their own.
Yeah, they want their picks back. Plus, they're gonna want something else like Keldon
or Vassell. You got to make the salaries match.
Yeah.
LeBron James has a player option. He's not going anywhere unless he's going to go follow Bronny around. Paul George
he did say he wanted to play 1 year with Bronny.
Yeah. Paul George also has a player option with the LA Clippers, so he'll probably stay because he's not going to want to leave there. Unrestricted free agents. The highest ranked unrestricted free agent is Pascal Siakam. Forward for the Indiana Pacers. I've always liked Pascal. And to be honest with you, the Spurs have been enamored with Pascal Siakam for many years. When the Spurs were getting rid of Kawhi, who did they want in return? They wanted Siakam. So notice how the Spurs have a tendency to go after certain players that they've wanted for years. C.D. Osman this year, who they got in the offseason. C.D. was somebody that had been linked to the Spurs for quite some time, and then they finally got him. The Spurs tend to get a free agent 2 or 3 years after they first were linked to them. And Pascal Siakam has forever been linked to the Spurs. Unrestricted free agent from the Bulls, DeMar DeRozan.
Hey, if you can get him cheap, I'm not opposed to him coming back.
I'm not opposed to it either, man. This guy has seen some battles out there. James Harden is unrestricted from the Clippers.
No, he's garbage, dude.
Tobias Harris is unrestricted, averaging around 18 points per game for the Sixers.
The Spurs need players that can shoot the ball.
Mm-hmm. Well, then the next one would be Miles Bridges.
Yeah.
Miles Bridges is that guy. He is not a star, but his stats are star worthy. This is a guy who can knock down some good 3-pointers, man. Drew Holiday has a player option with the Celtics. OG Anunoby has a player option with the Knicks. I don't see them going anywhere. D'Angelo Russell has a player option with the Lakers. Jonas Valanciunas, unrestricted for the Pelicans. Could I interest you in an upgrade of Zach Collins?
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. Get rid of that boy as fast as you can. I don't even know why the Spurs extended him. They say, oh, it was a great value.
Mm-hmm.
The dude's horrible, man. I mean, you've been to the games. You've seen him. I mean, he gets cooked all the time on the defensive end. He's very inconsistent on offense. He has a couple of great games, but other than that, he's just Booty Crumbs. We gave him that name for a reason.
Nick Claxton is also available. I've always liked Nick Claxton. He's a double-double guy with the Brooklyn Nets. Plays down low. Malik Monk is also available. He's kind of a 6-man extraordinaire. Russell Westbrook has a player option. And then to round out the top 20, Klay Thompson, unrestricted. Spencer Dinwiddie, unrestricted. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, player option with the Nuggets. Tyus Jones, bring in Trey Jones's brother. He's unrestricted with the Wizards. And then Bruce Brown, for the Toronto Raptors, has a team option. Mario Cavasso says, imagine the Spurs getting Pascal and Toronto's number 7 pick. Suckers. What's Matt Lerma laughing at right now?
Pascal Siakam. Or someone, oh no, they put this one here. Gilbert Arenas, get it. Spurs need someone who can shoot the ball.
Gilbert Arenas famously bringing a pistol into the locker room. Wasn't it a gambling debt?
Oh yeah, the dude, man, they're dumb, dude. He brought in a gun because somebody owed him money because of gambling debt. Because I guess they were playing craps in the locker room. You know,
playing craps.
Well, basically, it's dice. They're shooting the dice. You know, some guy owes him money, so yeah.
We are going till about 11:30 over here. Again, don't forget to subscribe to not only us, but subscribe to a League of Her Own podcast as well.
Yeah, follow CT. It's CT the Mike Slayer on the X.
Let's get that entertainment bump going.
All right, let's go ahead and do that. There it is. Things are loading slow today, Mike. Sorry.
A report on TMZ this morning says that former Beverly Hills 90210 star Shannon Doherty is preparing for death and giving away her personal items, her personal possessions. For those of you who have been following this, she has been battling cancer for quite some time. The story goes on to say that she believes that she can defeat the cancer, but in case it doesn't happen, she's getting her affairs in order and has been giving out her possessions and things like that because, as she put it in the article, she does not want to be a burden to her loved ones, and that right now she's spending most of her time spending as much time as possible with her mom. Shannon Doherty, prayers up to you, girl, because she was one of the great villains in TV. I mean, back in the day, this was before social media. Shannon Doherty would have been headline news, would have been trending back in the day because not only for what she did on Beverly Hills 90210, but also on Charmed as well when she started that with Alyssa Milano. Shannon Doherty was known as a very difficult person to work with and a very divisive character, both on screen and off screen. But you don't want to hear bad things happen to somebody like that, you know, and she's been battling this off. Tiffany Amber Thiessen, if I'm not mistaken, took over her role or basically replaced her, not her role, but basically what she was to the show on Beverly Hills 90210 back in the day. Again, prayers up to Shannon Doherty. We were talking about Rashid Rice. That's his name, right?
Rashid Rice, yeah.
Dude, tell me, I mean, what are your thoughts on him now cooperating with police? Because Rashid Rice, wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, got in trouble. There was a multi-car accident that he was apparently involved in, allegedly.
Racing.
It was like a Lamborghini and a Corvette.
Yeah.
And it was like 6 cars that collided in Dallas. He is from the Dallas area. He went to SMU up there in the Dallas area. This happened near Lover's Lane. So if you're by Dallas, that's a street name that I like. It's right next to SMU. And then he disappeared.
Hit and run. Somebody actually caught him on dash cam video. Then they saw his
just
Corvette.
Walking away.
Yeah, and walking away with his boys. You know, they were fleeing the scene. And now, you know, that they caught him on dash cam. And the thing is that there's cameras all over the place. So if somebody didn't just catch him on dash cam, they were going to see a different angle of the accident, the incident,
right,
and seeing what was going on. But I mean, now that he got caught, oh, now it's different. If he was anybody else, he'd be arrested. He'd be put in jail already, man.
No, exactly. Now the Kansas City Chiefs signed this guy last year, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he was a second-round draft pick, and according to CBS Sports, the Chiefs wide receiver is cooperating now with Dallas police. Do you know what it was, man? He went away to sober up, right? That's what I believe. Allegedly, I have no proof otherwise of this, or proof of this rather. But isn't that what you would do?
Yeah.
Get away from the accident and then go, oh, I'm going to go talk to police now that I'm sober, now that I blow a .000. The Chiefs have come out and said that they're going to investigate this themselves and get down to the bottom of it, is what they're saying. But Rashid Rice might be in trouble.
Just a little bit.
Matt Lerma reaches out to us on our YouTube stream saying that if Luka Doncic is asked to be traded, there's only a handful of teams that could take him. Rockets, Spurs, Wizards, Blazers. Which one do you think Luka wants to go to? The answer is
Mavericks. He's gonna stay where he's at.
Well, if he did, the question is, which one would he go to? Honestly, wouldn't he go to the Rockets?
Dude, he's gonna want the big city, man. He's no
Right.
way he's gonna want to come play in San Antonio.
And I don't know what it would be like to have a Luka Doncic with a Victor Wembanyama lineup. They don't seem to fit.
They don't mesh well together because Luka, how many touches does he need to get his?
Exactly.
You know,
I mean, he's forever with the ball. And that's why I say to Houston, if you go with Alperen Şengün and a Dylan Brooks type of front court, it actually fits what he does. Because what does Şengün do? He does all the dirty work and he goes and passes the ball and he gets rebounds and all that stuff. He's a better fit with Houston. And right now, I know a lot of Spurs fans hate Rockets fans right now, but the Rockets have done very well recently.
They have a much better record than the Spurs. I mean, they've won 3 times the amount of games that San Antonio has.
Yeah, right now the Rockets are 38-36, 2 games outside the 10 spot for the play-in tournament. But 38-36, man, look at that. 11 of the 15 teams in the West have a winning record.
Houston just finished winning 10 games in a row.
Yeah, they won 10 in a row. They lost their last game, 2 games behind the Warriors. They'll probably be back in the lottery. The Spurs right now sitting at 18-57, just 7 games left in the season, and just 4 of them left at home. They got the Nuggets coming up. At the Rockets right now, again, the Rockets looking good, man. I mean, you really can't complain about them.
Yeah. To me, the Luka talk to the Spurs, that's just a pipe dream, man. But Luka leaving the Mavs, that would take a lot for him to go ahead and want to do that because he's already built up a good little niche for himself there. But the problem with Luka is kind of like Wemby right now. He's on a team that has pieces around him, but not necessarily the pieces that are conducive to getting you where you want to be, you know?
Right. And you know the funniest thing about Houston is that they actually have potentially potentially 1 lottery pick this year. The Houston's first round draft pick is actually going to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah.
So theirs is gone. But they have Brooklyn's. And right now, Brooklyn has the 8th worst record in the league. So even with a winning record, the Rockets are going to get a lottery pick.
Yeah. They're going to get younger if they get a lottery pick. But hey, that's not necessarily a bad thing because the pieces that they have right now, they're winning some games.
Toronto has lost 13 in a row. They basically had a fire sale of a lot of their players.
Yeah.
13 in a row they've lost. As they have the 6th worst record in the league. Right now, it is a top 6 protected pick. If it doesn't convey this year, more than likely it'll convey next year, which is a stronger draft for the Spurs and for everyone around the league. But again, we're going to turn to the lottery and we're going to turn to the Trae Young talks because that's going to be dominating the headlines when things come around.
Yeah. But shout out to Matt Lerma for bringing the discussion into the chat.
Yep.
You know, that's a good topic of discussion there.
And let's talk about our baddie brackets because that's going to come to a conclusion on Monday of this week. So we have 16 baddies still available for the baddie brackets. And you know what? I've had a few people have complained about this, and screw you. We're just having fun. Okay.
The 3 guys that complained?
Yes.
I'm like, come on.
Yeah. One was like, one called me scum. Okay. The unfollow button is on the top right. Okay. Yeah. So again, what we're trying to do is try to find out who we think is the ultimate baddie, the ultimate hot woman celebrity. And it's not any local celebrities. It's nobody that we know. It's superstars. Yeah. Okay. So for those of you who have a problem with this, F off. We're having fun. So that being said, the 1 seeds are based on who had the highest vote totals in their pod. Because we had a poll on Twitter, and the highest vote totals went to Salma Hayek, who's our number 1 overall seed. Yannick Garcia, who's the meteorologist. She's not a meteorologist. The weather girl for is it Univision?
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. In Mexico. Tiffany Amber Thiessen, who was Kelly Kapowski. She was also on Beverly Hills 90210 back in the day. And wrestling goddess Trish Stratus are the 1 seeds.
Yeah.
The 2 seeds. I gotta ask you this question. What are the better seeds? Okay, because Salma Hayek, Yannick Garcia, Tiffany Amber Thiessen, Trish Stratus, I'm not feeling it.
Why?
I'm not, because I think the 2 and 3 seeds are better. The 2 seeds, Paige Sporonic.
Of course, you're gonna like Paige.
Shakira.
Yeah, I like Shakira.
Dua Lipa, AT&T Lily.
Oh man,
Milana Weintraub. Our 3 seeds, stout, dude. How are you going to knock out these 3 seeds? Sydney Sweeney, Scarlett Johansson, Hillary Duff, Jessica Alba.
Those are all tough choices, bro. Damn.
And then we have the 4 seeds, Ana de Armas, Selena Gomez, Gal Gadot, Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston just survive in advance. I think she's getting the women's vote. Because women are voting on this one, and I bet you she is. So the way that the pod would work out is that you have the upper and the lower, upper and lower, right? So it appears as though one pod is going to be Salma Hayek with AT&T Lily, Sydney Sweeney, and Jennifer Aniston. That is pod 1. The top 2 advance to the Elite 8. In the next pod, we're going to have Yannick Garcia with Dua Lipa, more than likely Scarlett Johansson and Gal Gadot. God, these are going to be tough ones, man. And we're going to narrow it down because, again, 16 baddies available, 6 Latinas, 6 international. There's going to be a surprise.
There is.
Like, is Trish Stratus really going to defend her 1 seed, or is she going to get knocked out?
Look at D'Lo puts. Imagine the winner post about it on Insta. I won the baddie bracket.
So what do we give as a trophy? You know, how do we award them?
A curvaceous statue? I don't know.
I like this one right here. Tony Ornelas. We're talking about women. We ain't talking about sports podcasts. We're talking about women. Women? Allen Iverson.
And the Allen Iverson boys.
I mean, come on. What do you guys talk about at the bar?
That's basically what our show is. It's bar talk.
Yeah.
Dude. Walking into the bar, pulling up to the high table with your fellas, having some beer, talking sports, talking whatever the hell you want to talk about.
Because at this point, when it comes to these baddies,
yeah,
like to advance, right? So I think Salma Hayek will advance to the Elite 8. When Salma Hayek has to go up against Shakira, we're going to see where the loyalties stand.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to make sure that it's not like LSU being in the same bracket as Iowa for the Elite 8. There's got to be something in there where we kind of spread it out a little bit. What's going to happen when your choices are Shakira, Salma Hayek, and maybe a Scarlett Johansson and a Sydney Sweeney?
It's tough choices, man.
Like, I think we're going to get like 6 votes because no one's going to want to pick.
Right? Somebody's going to have to be the bad guy.
Yeah. Is it going to be Thicky or other Thicky?
Yeah, we're going to have to tell CT or Steph to make the choice. Hey, let's go ahead and give some love over here to our boy, Jeff Garcia, the host of the Locked On Spurs podcast.
All right.
Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
Again, that's Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs, Ken's 5. He has some locked-ons regarding the injuries to Jeremy Soshan, Devin Vassell, both out for the rest of the season. He's also having a podcast to preview the upcoming game against Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. Going back to pop culture, if you want to show my screen real fast.
Sure.
People.com is talking about the fact that Brittany Mahomes posted throwback high school pics of her with Patrick Mahomes and the braces and all, they say.
Let's check that out. Oh, yeah, there it is.
So here's the thing about it. A lot of people hate Brittany Mahomes. I remember when I was at San Antonio Sports Star, my co-host, Tim Spence, hated Brittany Mahomes. But I kept on telling him, I'm like, you know what? Here's the thing, though. She's ride or die from the get-go.
She's loyal, bro. I mean,
from the get-go. He was a freshman. She was a sophomore. From the get-go, they were together. So I got to give her some respect. It's like, look at what Patrick Mahomes looked like when they met. He didn't look like he was going to be a, greatest quarterback of all time, future Hall of Famer, win multiple Super Bowl MVPs. He just looked like some dude who didn't get an Edgar cut.
Look at him. Let's go ahead and get it. Zoom in on that.
Dude, I like it, man.
Yeah, she's been his ride or die, man.
Yeah.
You can't pay somebody to be loyal. That's just how she's built, man.
Yeah, and what they do over there in Kansas City as far as being part of the community, being part of the soccer community over there, because she was a soccer athlete herself. She played college soccer. So I'm very, very happy for them and what they've been able to accomplish. Again, there's the greatest and there's the best of all time. Daniel Tosh, I was reading this earlier. Have you heard Daniel Tosh's podcast?
I've heard some of it.
Remember Tosh.0 back in the day?
Mm-hmm. Back in the day, yeah.
Dude, I used to be addicted to that show. His podcast is actually very cerebral and very funny at the same time. But he is coming out and saying that he believes, or that he has been told, that Kylie Jenner, who, by the way, was part of our baddie brackets but got knocked out in the round of 32, that she's pregnant with Timothée Chalamet's baby. Timothée Chalamet, very popular actor these days. She's denying it, but he's there saying, no, I've got sources who say otherwise. And that's the weird thing about like Hollywood circles, right? Is that Hollywood circles, there are people who kind of know things.
Yeah.
And maybe it's true. They just don't want to announce it yet.
Well, everything has to be contrived in some way for likes and
views
and whatnot. You know, kind of like that announcement like LeBron James back in the day, you know. What was it? The decision.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, God. Come on, man. That's so stupid.
The decision was so stupid, man. It was so stupid. What are you streaming these days, my man?
Right now, me and my wife are watching something called 3 Body Problem. It's a new series that came out on Netflix. It's actually quite good. We're 2 episodes in. It's an 8 episode series. And she was wanting to watch it yesterday, but I'm working late, right? So she's like, I can't watch it unless you're there. I'm like, that's loyalty right there. Because I'd be like, fuck you, I'm watching all of them. She's like, I gotta wait for you.
I want to thank Matt Lermo, by the way, because a couple of months ago we were talking about streaming, and I got into Royal Pains.
Oh yeah,
on Netflix. I am down to the final 8 episodes.
Is he the one that recommended that?
Yeah, he recommended it, and I had already seen 1 or 2 episodes, and I mentioned it on the show, and he kept on saying how much he loved it.
Yeah, Royal Pains.
So I kind of kept going with it. There's a character on Royal Pains that is a nugget, but the thing is that like she is she's older now because the show has been off the air for so long.
Yeah.
Like, how did I not know about a woman who went by the name, or her name in the show is
let's see,
Divya Katdare, but she is a absolute nugget on the show. She plays a physician assistant. And Matt Lerma back in the day was like, dude, you got to watch the show just for Divya.
And now you're watching it.
so now I follow her on Instagram.
Oh, God.
And it was a good show. It was a good show. So they were talking about the fact that USA Network back in the day actually had some pretty good shows. And now they're all popular on Netflix of the 2010s because like we had, what was that show? Suits got really popular.
Yeah,
Covert Affairs got popular. A lot of shows out there. Queen of the South, which my ex was really into.
That got popular.
That got super popular as well, man. It's weird because you go on and you start looking at these shows from back in the day, whether it be the USA Network or Hallmark or what was AMC was the one that had Breaking Bad. It had Mad Men.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Mad Men was a good
Yellowstone.
Show,
some of the best shows are like on these
what?
Obscure channels.
AMC, I believe, also had a show that I absolutely love, man. It was called Halt and Catch Fire. It was so good, dude. I loved it.
Halt and Catch Fire?
Halt. It's a nerd term. If you're into technology and computers, back then, Halt and Catch Fire was a command line you would put in to erase your data.
So what's that one station that has Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I think it was FX.
FX.
Yeah.
FX has always had a lot of good shows. I mean, FX, if I'm not mistaken, had American Horror Story. So,
yeah, so they still have it.
There's some good stuff, man. There's some good stuff.
We need to get back into you covering some of these retro movie reviews. I have that little jingle that I've been dying to play more. And last time, what is it? The movie that you saw? It was the one with Chuck Norris.
Oh yeah. What movie was that?
The one with Chuck Norris with the
Delta Force.
Delta Force.
Yeah. He's riding the motorcycle with the little guns going off.
No,
to the right.
missile, the noise it made.
And it somehow went straight, even though it was angled to the left and right. Like, how the hell did that happen?
Hey, but even that was funny because you're like, man, the first half of the movie, dude, that was pretty good.
I know, this is a legit movie. It kind of reminded me of like Cloak and Dagger, which I had never seen before. That's a legit movie, dude.
Yeah, we need to get you to watch another one, but we're trying to get together. I was talking with Jeff the other day, and I was telling them we got to make the movie happen where we go ahead and rent the theater out, and we go and have you watch the OG Transformers movie.
Okay,
and we invite some of the listeners and whatnot to come out, and you got to review it right afterwards. You know, you got to give us your honest opinion. Honest opinion.
Okay, so Forbes magazine has the an article that came out about a month ago or so. So it's a relatively recent article talking about the best movies of the 90s according to Forbes. Okay, I'm gonna see what's the highest rated movie or highest ranked movie that I've never seen.
Okay,
so number one, it goes from 40 all the way up. So let me go all the way down. Let's see here. The number one rated movie of all of the 90s according to Forbes.com is Shawshank Redemption. I've seen it many times. Dude, number two, I've never seen.
Schindler's List.
Schindler's List is number two. I've never seen, and I don't want to watch it. It's so depressing.
I was forced to watch this in high school. I was like,
so let's pick a movie that is fun to watch, if you will.
Terminator 2,
3,
Jesse A.
Thelma and Louise. I've seen Thelma and Louise. That's with Susan Sarandon, Gina Davis, Brad Pitt. Toy Story, I've seen. Kind of a depressing movie.
Yeah.
There's Something About Mary I've seen. I love that movie. That's number 5. Malcolm X is 6. I don't think I've seen Malcolm X.
Really?
I don't think I've seen Malcolm X. Good Will Hunting is ranked number 7. Titanic is 8. Seen him. Hoop Dreams is 9. I don't think I've seen Hoop Dreams.
Really?
Is that Ray Allen?
Yeah. Hoop Dreams.
I don't remember watching that movie.
No, that one's not Hoop Dreams. He's Got Game is the one with Ray Allen.
Oh, okay. Haven't seen either one of them. 10 being Goodfellas. I've seen that one. That's a good movie. 11, Scream. 12, The Fugitive. Love The Fugitive. 13, Set It Off.
You haven't seen The Fugitive?
I loved it.
That's great.
It's a great movie. Dude, one of San Antonio resident or close to it. What's his name? Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, yeah. Tommy Lee Jones, man.
Yeah, he lives in the San Antonio area.
He was great in that movie.
He's great, man. And I don't know, is he just himself in these movies? Because he'll say things like I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. Which, by the way, a 90s movie. We got to talk about a 90s movie now that I think about it, right? Because he's in this movie. Did you ever see the movie Double Jeopardy?
I believe I saw
with
that
Ashley Judd.
Yeah.
My ex was really into that movie, right? So the premise of that movie is that this woman played by Ashley Judd goes to, gets convicted of murder, if you will, of her husband.
Yeah.
But the body was never found. And the husband actually went off and pretended that he died and he was living another life elsewhere.
That's kind of like that one movie with Ben Affleck. What was it called with that lady that faked her own death?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You remember that one?
Yeah. So, that's gonna be stuck in my head. Okay, I know what you're talking about, but no. Okay,
Gone Girl.
Gone Girl. There you go.
There
that was a good movie.
Yeah.
That was a good movie. So she serves her time, gets out of jail. Now she's in her 40s, right? She served like 20 years, right?
Yeah.
She comes out, she's in her 40s, finds that her husband is still alive. And the question is, she wants to kill him.
Damn.
And it was called Double Jeopardy because if she kills him, should police be allowed to let her do this because she's already been convicted of this crime? And you can't be convicted of the same crime twice.
Jeez.
It was a great premise. All right, the 14th best movie of the 90s, according to Forbes.com, is Jerry Maguire. I've seen it. How Stella Got Her Groove Back. I think I've seen that one. Men in Black, shitty movie.
Have you even seen it?
I have. It's so bad. And we were talking about Tommy Lee Jones. I mean, he's in this movie.
Man.
That is a
This one is a good
movie.
one. Casino.
Casino's a great movie. I've seen Casino. It's a great movie. A League of Their Own, great movie. Sixth Sense, great movie. Groundhog Day, great movie. Big Lebowski.
That one is a cult classic. That
I can't get through it.
It's freaking hilarious, dude. Especially that bowling scene.
Yeah, I can't get through it, man.
Come on, man. It's funny, dude.
I've given it a try. I can't get through
That's
it.
where they have that saying, nobody fucks with the Jesus.
Yeah.
That guy's name's Jesus.
Yeah. By the way, I went to Chick-fil-A the other day, and like 3 or 4 days ago, like Saturday, and the guy at Chick-fil-A was named Jesus that served me. I felt doubly blessed. Usual Suspects, Jurassic Park, seen them. What's Love Got to Do with It? Seen it. Menace to Society. He menaced to society. Watched it for the first time last year.
Club.
Never seen Joy Luck. Where the hell is Pulp Fiction in this thing? Where's Rounders?
Bro.
Mi Familia is in there.
Selena.
I love the Truman Show. The Matrix number 30. How that
one 10. Is a good one. That one's a great movie.
Way to Exhale. You know what? Great soundtrack, by the way. Election. I've never seen the movie with Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, that's pretty damn funny, dude.
I know about it. I know enough about it that Matthew Broderick wants to take her down.
He's a teacher, right? And he absolutely despises her.
Yeah.
And she's running for like class president or something. And he's trying to sabotage her whole campaign, dude.
Edmund Ortiz says Cloak and Dagger rocks on our YouTube stream.
Yeah, dude.
Mario saying White Chicks and Bring It On are in Mike's wheelhouse. Dude, Bring It On. I love Bring It On.
Have you seen White Chicks?
I've seen it once or twice.
Okay, that one's pretty funny.
So I was watching Waterboy a couple of days ago, and I put on Twitter, who was scarier, Waterboy's girlfriend or the mom? Dude, that girlfriend, Jeff Garcia retweeted it, was like, that girlfriend's ride or die, man.
She is, dude.
That was the best girlfriend to have. I get it, but she was scary, dude. She wasn't attractive for anything. Fargo, that movie sucked. Boys in the Hood's a great movie. Boys in the Hood, correct me if I'm wrong. That high schooler that died, like in the middle of the alleyway, the football player that was supposed to get out. All that stuff. Everyone was crying watching that movie, and I was kind of like, why didn't he just get home? Why was he diddly daddling, man? Why was he just like half-assing his way home? He knew that they were in danger, and he didn't do anything about it, and he got shot. Just go home.
The life in the streets, bro.
It pissed me off. Forrest Gump. I've seen it at Fight Club. I love it. One of my favorite movies. Love Silence of the Lambs. Saving Private Ryan. 7. Great movie. What's in the box? What's in the box? And then Super Cop. Never seen that one.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Okay. Jackie Chan movie.
No.
So out of the 40, I've seen about 32 of them.
All
right. So I don't know if I'm going to do a retrospective on any of these unless He Got Game is going to be one.
We got to get you to watch it comedy, dude, from back in the day. That's pretty damn funny. I'm telling you, the cochino comedy, that's right up your alley, Zap, bro.
Dude, I looked it up the other day, and it just doesn't look like it does anything for me.
You think it doesn't, but when you watch it, I'm telling you, it's something that's right up your alley, bro.
You know, I'm going to X out of this real fast. Blazing Saddles is one of the old school movies that I love a lot, dude. That I'm a big fan of, as we're showing ESPN.com. That's what I do when we're doing the show. I surf the web half the time. But now I got to find a new show to watch because I'm going to finish watching Royal Pains by the end of the week, probably by tomorrow or the next day. Been doing about 2 episodes a day.
Yeah,
you know, it's a good show.
Schitt's Creek's always good too, man.
I love that show.
It's freaking funny, dude.
I'm so mad that I didn't know about it when it was going on.
Yeah,
I discovered it during COVID, and by then they were already on the last season.
The other episode I like is when the son was making all those soaps and all the lotions and all that.
Yeah,
and somebody was selling the same thing he was, but for a cheaper price.
Yeah,
and this friend comes over. He's like, "I'm ready to check out. That's not my shit." You gonna check me out or what? Do I got to go over there and buy it from the other guy?
Dude, at the Emmys, when the last season, when they won Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, the entire show won, was epic. And it's such a funny show. And that's probably one of the smartest shows. And one of the weird things about it, and I'll kind of wrap up with Schitt's Creek for those of you who haven't watched it. Schitt's Creek is one of the few shows that got progressively better every single year. Most shows have an incredible first year a good second year, and then it tapers off 3, 4, 5, and then it's done.
Lost.
Jeez, Community.
Bro. Yeah.
Community was epic the first 2 seasons, and then it kind of just tapered off. It's different because Schitt's Creek was just okay when it came out.
Yeah.
And I remember watching this show with my ex, thinking to myself, okay, I'll give it one more show. It was never one of those things where I got hit in the head and I was like, oh my God, this is great. It was always just good enough
to build up.
Kind of like, those racing games, those video games back in the 90s where you had to like get like through the you had to get to a time check.
Yeah.
I'd be down to 1 second and then I'd cross the line. I'd go like, okay, I'm gonna keep driving. That was the thing.
Look at Yellowstone. Somebody put on
JHNSB says Yellowstone. God, they got to end that show, man. Give us a good ending for that show. Give us a good ending. This is a good comment right here. Tony Ornella saying there hasn't been a funny movie in a while. There's more funny TV shows out there like The Office with Steve Carell, and he loved Curb Your Enthusiasm. There's a problem with comedy right now because I think a lot of people are afraid to touch it.
Oh, because
you're going to get canceled and all that stuff. I mean, back in the day, probably the last great run of comedies was probably the Will Ferrell / Judd Apatow movie. Sometimes they were the same, sometimes they weren't. But you had the Anchorman and Step Brothers and
you can't do Anchorman, not today, dude.
You can't. I think the last great comedy. I mean, you can't do Superbad.
No. What was the name of Will Ferrell's dog in Anchorman?
Baxter.
I don't speak Spanish.
You ate the whole wheel of cheese? I'm not even mad. I'm impressed.
And then they kicked the shit out of him over the
Jack Black. Someone punted Baxter? One of the great lines is Sex Panther. It's made with real Panthers, so it's good. 60% of the time, it works every time. This is so great lines.
Yeah.
The last of the good comedies was probably Girls Trip, Bridesmaids. There were some good female comedies there towards the end. This is the end. Might actually be the last great comedy. What is the most recent great comedy? Because I'm going to say this is the end. There was a good one with James Franco and Seth Rogen, where The Interview.
The Kim Jong.
Yeah. That was really good. I don't know if I'd call it great.
Yeah, Sony got scared into releasing it in mass production in the theater because threats and all. Yeah,
that was a good movie. But the last great comedy This is the end? That's 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was a while back, man. It's been a while.
I did like the Jennifer Lawrence movie that came out.
I like Land of the Lost, dude. That was pretty damn funny.
I didn't see that one.
That one's funny, dude. You got to watch that one. It has Will Ferrell in it.
Dude, I watched Superbad again the other day. That movie never gets old. It never gets old.
McLovin.
And then you hear the fact that I liked Role Models. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
When you hear the fact that Seth Rogen, who's that guy that was in Superbad, the main character, the one who played Seth. Anyway, how he hated the guy who played McLovin, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, couldn't stand him in real life, and you could tell on the screen that he hated him. It's great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, fellas, I think it's time to call it a day. It is 11:45 here in San Antonio. Everyone have a great day. Time to go get my car washed because I got pelted by hail and pollen last night. Gonna go get that taken care of. But everyone have a great day. Again, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. I wonder what the numbers look like on Facebook and Twitter. We haven't done it in a while.
Yeah.
Let's take a look, man. Again, thank you so much. And don't forget, this Saturday is the Mike Taylor barbecue kickoff, barbecue taste-off, rather. I'm one of the judges. Come and say hi. Be there from 10 to 4. Everyone have a great day. Y'all take care.